So here's a quick overview of how a Nitro-CELL execution workflow works. The first thing we need to understand, though, is how does everything start? There's a worksheet called Nitro-CELL main. It controls the overall sequence of how you want things to occur within your automation process. And there's another worksheet that's required called Nitro-CELL matrix. This is basically just a glorified lookup table of all of the various combinations of functions that are referenced by what we call a Nitro-CELL execution worksheet. Within that Nitro-CELL matrix, there's over 100 different functions that can do various things like create parameters, suppress components, resume components, delete features, all kinds of cool stuff. The Nitro-CELL main sheet is really where the overall kind of architecture of your automation will occur. And it can be comprised of 3 different worksheet types: an execution worksheet, a data worksheet, which just sends data to your models, and a batch worksheet. The batch worksheet basically is just a glorified loop that allows you to kind of run through different things with the same process. You can reorder these at any time, and you can organize them in any which way you want to. It's a very ad hoc process. How it would basically work is if we started off with an execution worksheet as our first order of operation, it would execute that and then could also execute other things within that. So for example, if my execution A worksheet has calls to execute other worksheets to send data or to execute other worksheets, it could do that very simply within its own worksheet. It doesn't have to be all the way up front at the Nitro-CELL main. The same thing could occur for a data worksheet. So when we're sending data from the main sheet, we're just going to send data straight as a sub worksheet. And then if we have an execute worksheet as another operation, it could execute as a standalone object, or it could send data or send other execution worksheets with ease. So here's a real example. Let's say that we had a worksheet titled Open File. And the intent of this was to start off by opening a file, list everything that's in session for files, and start to build up a batch list of those. For each of those, we could have another worksheet called Check for Parameter that would check to verify that if a parameter exists, and then if it did, it would send another worksheet of data to include information to a file that happened to be in session that was being batched. A following operation may be that you just want to standardly add parameters to models that are in session no matter what. So that add parameters function or worksheet would actually just send data across. And then as a final operation, you may want to back up things to a directory. So we could actually just have an execution process to just selectively back up things that have been processed successfully.